Over the first 3 days at Crooked Stick, everybody's been talking about John Daly. A wood and an 8-iron and a putt to birdie the last, as he did on the second day. And John Daly is at 11 under par. He wasn't penalised 2 shots for outside assistance from his caddy, which I think was a fair and just decision. And so he starts the final round 3 shots ahead of the rest. Hello and welcome to our live coverage of the 4th and final round of the 73rd US PGA. Long John Daly, he really has excited everybody at Crooked Stick, and he's 3 shots in front at the top of the leaders board there. He'll be playing with Kenny Knox, so that's the long and the short of it there. Daly, a very long hitter, Knox not so long. He's at 8 under. Craig Stadler is playing with Litsky. And then the other pairings at the top of the leaders board, we have Bob Gilder and Andrew McGee at 6 under. Nick Faldo also at 6 under, playing with John Houston, who's at 4 under. The Australians, Wayne Grady has led them, and he's made a respectable defence of his championship at 3 under par. Norman even par with Elkington, David Graham at +2, and Craig Parry at +3. But everybody has been talking about Long John Daly. I think he comes from the Ted Ray school of thinking on golf. Ted Ray, the former Open champion, was once asked how you get extra length. He said, hit him a sight harder. Let's go to Crooked Stick for your daily dose.
Yesterday at the PGA Championship, John Daly, a 25-year-old tour rookie, became an American phenomenon. The last man to make the field conquered Crooked Stick with an overpowering display that included a birdie at the 18th. However, before he signed his card, PGA of America officials informed him that he may have inadvertently violated a rule during the round. The story was brought to the PGA's attention by phone calls from 3 television viewers. Daly was transported to the CBS compound to review the replay. In question, the 11th hole, a par 5, Daly had reached the green in 2. At issue, Rule 8-2B. Did Daly's caddy, Jeff Squeaky Meldon, touch the putting surface with the flagstick on the line of the putt? If so, it would have meant a 2-shot penalty, and his lead would have been reduced from 3 shots to 1 shot. This was an eagle putt, and what may have saved Daly in the end was it was a left to right putt.
No question. They both said it was a left to right putt. The putt was red from the left edge of the hole, and there was no consideration that the ball would ever be to the right of the hole in reading the putt. So the caddy was not indicating line of play, line of putt, because the putt was a left to right breaker the whole way.
Steve Melnick talked to Daly.
John, turn around here. No penalty on the shot.
No penalty. I didn't even aware of what was going on. It was maybe a shock to me, but definitely didn't use the flag, and I don't think Squeaky did either.
John Daly, the story at the PGA Championship. That's how he finished yesterday. He arrived this morning to a hero's welcome. Then he headed to the practice range with that 3-shot lead, the swagger of a young Arnold Palmer, the swing of a young Jack Nicklaus, and the best wishes from golf fans around the nation.
Today in America's great Midwest, the final round of the 1991 PGA Championship will be played out at the Crooked Stick Golf Club, just outside of Indianapolis. Not since 1924 has a PGA champion been crowned in the state of Indiana. It also marks the final chapter of golf's 4 majors. 151 players teed off on Thursday in hopes of placing their names on the Wanamaker Trophy. 4 months ago at Augusta National Golf Club, 3 players walked up 18 with a chance to win. 2-time Masters winner Tom Watson found himself pitted against 2 of the world's greatest players. The Spaniard, Jose Maria Olazabal, and Welshman Ian Woosnam. It was Woosnam who made a dramatic putt to walk away with the green jacket. 2 months later at the United States Open, it came down to 2 men and an 18-hole playoff to decide this national championship. Former champion Scott Simpson faltered down the stretch as a courageous Payne Stewart, coming back from an early season injury, captured his 2nd major. Shortly thereafter, the golfing world traveled overseas for the 120th British Open. where one of golf's greatest traditions continued when Ian Baker Finch emerged from the field and won his first major. And kissed the claret jug. Today at Crooked Stick, the final member of golf's illustrious foursome will be crowned. And one young man is on the brink of realizing any golfer's dream. On Wednesday, John Daly wasn't even part of the PGA Championship. The ninth alternate has become the biggest story as he takes a 3-shot lead into the final 18 holes. But not too far off are some players who have been in this situation before. Nick Faldo is 4 shots back but has 4 majors behind him. And veteran Bruce Litsky, who's won many tournaments but never a major.